Less than a year ago, I had no idea what was happening to my body. I was exhausted every single day. No matter how long I slept, it was never enough. Brain fog, low energy, weight that wouldn't budge. And then this happened. Wires, sensors, tubes, hooked up like a full-blown lab experiment, trying to figure out one simple question. Why was my body failing me while I slept? Welcome back to Life on Tirzepatide, the once weekly injection that suppresses appetite and is helping millions of people break free from unhealthy patterns. On this channel, I bring you into my real, unfiltered journey, including injecting this medication on camera for the world to see. Because if my story can impact even one person, then it's worth sharing. So on August 12th, 2025, around 8 p.m., I checked into a sleep study facility expecting rest. But that's not what I got. Within minutes, I was wired from head to toe. Every moment triggered alarms. Every disconnect brought nurses rushing back in over and over and over again. What was supposed to be 8 hours of sleep turned into maybe an hour of actual rest. But here's what changed everything. That one night produced over 500 pages of data. And inside that data was the answer to how I got here. I was stopping breathing over 52 times per hour. Think about that. All night long, my body was fighting to survive. Instead, what happens to most people when they get a good night's rest? Finding ways to recover. My HRV was crashing. My sleep quality was broken. And my body was under constant stress, and I didn't even know. Which explains everything. Why I felt drained before 1 p.m. most days. Why my energy was gone at 38. Why I felt completely lost on what to do next. And then a conversation changed everything. A close friend of mine said, "Have you ever been tested for sleep apnea?" I had heard the term before. My dad struggled with it, but in my mind, that was something older people dealt with, not me. But when those 500 pages of data came back, the results were serious enough that I couldn't ignore them anymore. That's when I was told I needed to sleep with a ResMed machine. And what I thought would be a quick fix turned into months of trial and error, adjusting, struggling, learning, until eventually I found a new rhythm of sleep that started to change everything. The first week was rough. Learning how to sleep with a ResMed machine is not natural. I toss and turn. I sleep on my stomach, and suddenly I'm strapped into a mask with air being forced into my airway, and this long hose that keeps getting in the way. It took time, just like anything new we introduce into our lives. But the real struggle lasted months. Not just with sleep, but with compliance. Insurance required a 70% usage rate. I was stuck at 68%. Close, but not enough. I wasn't getting 8 hours of sleep. Most nights, I wasn't even getting 4. And that's when I learned something important. Never believe that what works for someone else will automatically work for you. Let me say that again. Never believe that what works for someone else will automatically work for you. That mindset will hold you back. Because the truth is, you have to go through your own trial and error to find what actually works for you and your body. And in the sleep apnea world, that can be overwhelming. There are so many masks, so many options, and all you're trying to do is get more than 4 hours of real sleep. That was my problem. I started with the AirTouch N30i, the one they fitted me for at the medical supply store. I thought this is going to be easy, but it wasn't. Every night, I'd saline rinse, trying to clear everything out, and a few hours later, I'd be congested again. Mask on, mask off, frustration building. I'd rip it off in the middle of the night, and I'd go back to sleep without it, convincing myself I was getting better rest, but in reality, I was falling right back into the same cycle, putting my body under stress over 52 times per hour. But I didn't quit. Next, I tried the AirFit P30i, the same one my dad used. On paper, it sounded perfect. Nasal pillows, direct airflow, simple design. But what worked for him, or what had worked for everyone else, didn't work for me. It caused severe irritation, pain inside my nose, restless nights all over again, and still I wasn't hitting compliance, which meant thousands of dollars out of pocket, until one day I came across the AirFit F30i. I saw someone on YouTube using it, and something just clicked. I called my insurance, and they approved it. No costs. I remember that first night, I went from 4 hours of sleep to over 12 hours of rest. And I said to myself, it had been over a decade since I got over 12 hours of sleep. The next night, 11 hours. By the third night, I was consistently hitting 8+ hours, and everything started to change. My compliance jumped from the low 30s to over 75%, just from finding the right mask. And then it hit me. Remember when I said I was stuck on the plateau with Tirzepatide for 6 weeks? That is why. I wasn't sleeping. My body wasn't recovering. But in less than a week, everything shifted. For the first time in a long time, I broke through. I dropped below 250 pounds, and today I am 248 pounds. And it wasn't just the number. It was my body finally saying thank you.
Yeah!
So don't give up, especially if you're just getting started on Tirzepatide, or you're just beginning the process of improving your sleep. Because what you're feeling right now might not be the full picture. You could be doing everything right and still not seeing results, simply because your body isn't getting the rest it needs. And in some cases, you might not even realize what's really going on. I didn't. That's why I strongly encourage you to get a sleep test. Because like I said, for the first time in what feels like forever, I'm actually sleeping. And now I'm finally seeing the kind of progress I knew was possible on Tirzepatide. I didn't realize for all those weeks that sleep might be the reason I wasn't losing any weight. I felt like I was injecting an expensive medication into my body and the results had just stopped. Like I hit a wall. But what I didn't understand at the time was this. Sleep isn't just part of the process, it is the process. Because when you're not sleeping, your body stays in a constant state of stress. Your cortisol levels stay elevated. Your metabolism slows down. Your hunger hormones become unbalanced. You start craving more, moving less, and recovering poorly. So even if you're doing everything else right, eating better, taking Tirzepatide, trying to stay disciplined, your body is still fighting against you. And that was for me, running on empty every single day. But once I started getting real sleep, consistent quality sleep, everything began to shift. My energy came back, my body started recovering, and the weight finally started moving again. Because here's the truth. 8 hours of sleep isn't optional, it's foundational. That's when your body repairs itself. That's when hormones reset. That's when fat loss actually becomes possible. And that's why it's so important to figure this out as early as possible, because the longer you go without proper sleep, the longer you progress stays stuck. Let me say that again. The longer you go without proper sleep, the longer your progress stays stuck. But once you fix it, you don't just feel better, you unlocked results that were there the whole time, waiting for your body to finally catch up. If you found value in today's video, take a second to hit that subscribe button and drop a like. It really helps support the channel. And if this message resonated with you, I'd encourage you to follow along this journey towards better health. Because what I'm sharing here is personal. It's not easy opening up about the stress this body has gone through, but I'm doing it for a reason. To build a community of people who are also looking for real change, real healing, and real results. And if you have questions, leave them in the comments. I personally read and respond to every single one. And right now, you have this unique opportunity to be part of this community while it's still growing. So don't just watch, be part of it. I'll see you guys on the next video.